Om. 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 Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidwaram यो अन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम् समचरणसरोजं सान्द्रनीलाम्बुधाभं जघननिहितपाणिं मण्डनं मण्डनानां तरुणतुलसीमालां कन्धरं कञ्जनेत्रं सदयधवलहासं विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि विठ्ठलं चिन्तयामि. Pranams to the Lord. Pranams to all the Mahatmas in tonight's Eknathi Bhagawat session. We are in chapter 7. We have seen till OV 431. We begin now from 42nd verse. अन्तर्हितश्च स्थिरजङ्गमेषु ब्रह्मात्मभावेन समन्वयेन व्याप्त्या व्यवच्छेदमसङ्गमात्मनः मुनिर्नभस्त्वं विततस्य भावयेत्. Over to you, Sri Hariji.
Meaning of the verse: though clothed in a body, the yogi should identify himself with Brahman and visualize the affinity of his all-pervading soul with the sky in respect of the quality of freedom from limitations and absence of attachments as it penetrates everything at once. 432. The sky is dotless, clean, indivisible, aloof, and equal to all the objects, and therefore I regarded sky as my guru. 433. Though it is uncommon and in variety of articles, it is same everywhere. Though it appears to be in touch with everything, it is not touched. Its uniformity is not broken, though we may imagine it to be disturbed in parts like eastern sky or western sky. I therefore regarded the sky as my perceptor. 434. There is enmity between the serpent and the mongoose, but in the sky, which permeates both the creatures, there is no sense of enmity. Similarly, a yogi must have such equal attitude and friendship with everybody. 435. It is in comparison with the sky that the yogi sees himself as entering and existing anywhere as Brahman. 436. When one sees everything as finally indivisible with Brahman, one feels and experiences that one is feeling all the things in the world. And there is it's joined. Okay. When one sees everything as finally indivisible with Brahman, and one feels and experiences that one is feeling all the things in the world, and there is nothing short anywhere, everything being complete. 437. Either ether or the sky or space is in all the things, but it is not visible to all. Similarly, yogi is in everything mentally, beyond the position of the observer as well as the things observed. 438. The sky is not hurt by any sharp weapon, nor does it burn by the forest fire. Though it is not separate from the flames and is in the flames also, it is as clean and fresh as ever. 439. Similarly, any factors of opposites do not adversely affect the yogi at any time. No doubt, all opposites happily dwell in him, but he is shining as himself. 440. Supposing the yogi is hit continuously by sharp weapons in order to kill him, he looks at himself and in the weapons also. And therefore, he is not harmed inwardly, just like the sky which remains unhurt by weapons. 441. When any sense of opposites attacks him in the mind, he finds that it is his own nature, and therefore his own essential ones remain intact, untouched by dualities. 442. One sees sky as a reflection in the water of a pond, but it does not become wet by the water. Yogi is aloof, though he is in the body, all bodies. 443. If one tries to apply mud to the sky, it so happens that sky is not touched by the mud, but only the hand of the person is dirty. Similarly, one who finds faults with the yogi and tries to see some defect in him, he himself becomes blameworthy. 444. The sky is in all the people and things, but by the friction between those things, the sky is not hurt. Similarly, the yogi performs all actions, but he is not bound by them. 445. If one tries to tie the sky in a piece of cloth, all the four corners of the cloth remain empty. Similarly, if the yogi is sought to be bound by any action, that action becomes inaction. 446. It is a custom to say that in an empty pot there is space within the boundaries of the that pot, but really the sky is inside and outside the pot in its fullness. 447. Similarly, people say that Atman is in the body, but actually it is everywhere in and out of the body, and the body is a fictitious in itself, while the spirit is free and real. ते तेजोबन्नम तेजोबन्नमयैर्भावैः मद्या मघात् मघाद् मघाद्यैर्वायुनेरितैः न स्पृश्यते नभस्तद्वत् कालस्पृष् कालसृष्टैर्गुणैः पुमान्. The soul, meaning of the verse, the soul is not touched by material things like body, which are the creation of time as kala, and are constituted of fire, water, and earth with food, just like the sky is not touched by the clouds, which are tossed by the wind. 448. The sky is not dirtied by the dust. It is not wet by water. It does not burn by the flames, and it is not blown by the wind. 449. There may be great cyclonic clouds which may cover up the sky, but those clouds cannot touch it. 450. Similarly, when the yogi is merged in his own Atman, he does not become affected by the gunas created by the Kala. 451. The power of Kala is very great. It gives the body old age and death. But as the yogi is beyond body, he does not see birth or death at all. 452. Suppose a man finds in his dream the gem Chintamani and he loses it in the deep dark well. Then, in his waking consciousness, he does not lament for that loss because that was an illusion. Similarly, a connection of a yogi with his body is also illusory. 453. The time which is so powerful as capable of destroying the bodies of Brahma and others bows before the yogi because yogi is the Atman of death itself. So he is the master of the Kala. 454. Electricity illumines the whole sky and makes a thundering sound. But though the sky is in and out of that lightning, it is not affected by this lightning. 455. Similarly, the sattva illuminates the knowledge, but the yogi does not touch even that because he himself is the knowledge and in its pure state. Therefore, the yogi does not value the knowledge consisting of duality. 456. When the sun rises, the lamp light is not useful. Similarly, when the knowledge itself is attained, who will turn to the knowledge which is having the knower and the knowing? 457. The yogi does not care for the knowledge which is the quality of sattva or does not bother even if the rajas becomes turbulent. 458. He does not become a slave to the anger or enticement caused by the tamas because he has already gone beyond the three gunas by the reason of his being merged into the Atman bliss. 459. Avadhuta further said, O Prince, O brave Yadu, now I shall tell you how water became my guru. Please listen. स्वच्छ प्रकृत स्वच्छः प्रकृतितः स्निग्धः माधुर्यस्तीर्थपूर्णुनां मुनिः पुनात् मुनिः पुनात्यपां मित्रम् ईक्षोपस्पर्शकीर्तनैः. Meaning of the verse: bearing close affinity with water, the yogi is transparent, soft by nature, sweet and pure, and purifies people by mere sight, touch, and his name being uttered by the devotees. 460. As regards the qualities of water, it is naturally pure, soft, and sweet. 461. At the places of pilgrimage, water which is clean can purify the pilgrims. Yogi should have these qualities in him at all times. 462. Water cleanses all who bathe in it by its natural power, but it is not proud that it has cleansed the dirt of so many people. 463. Similarly, the yogi cleanses the sins of those who worship him, but does not think that he had done so much work as a guru. 464. He never becomes rude to other beings, even if it would involve his own death. He is soft and humble to everyone whom he meets. 465. Just as the rays of the moon are dear to the bird Chakor, or the wings of the mother bird to her young ones, or life is dear to living beings, so is the yogi soft and loving to all beings. 466. Water washes the dirt on the surface, but yogi washes clean the mind as well as outward behavior. Water gives coolness by touch only at one time, but yogi gives happiness always. 467. The pleasure given by water to us is very temporary because a man becomes thirsty after some time. Yogi, however, gives such satisfaction by imparting self knowledge that the person does not have any break in the continuous effect of bliss. 468. That a satisfaction given by water is a feeling limited to the tongue only, but yogi indirectly gives peace and containment to all the organs. 469. When a yogi becomes pleased, even the sweetness of the nectar becomes negligible. Even the positions of Brahma and Indra become as nothing to that pleasure. 470. Just as water gives coolness to the persons who are harassed by heat, by touch only, the yogi is having the same quality. He gives peace and comfort by his kind touch. 471. Even when a person experiences coolness of water by touch at one time, the man is again thirsty, etc. But yogi, by his touch, frees a man totally from the three types of heat, namely the troubles coming out of one's own and through the providence of destiny. 472. When a yogi gives comfort to a man, he never suffers again, but is always enjoying the bliss of self realization. 473. Water comes down from the clouds, and in thus it's falling down. The earth and all the beings become happy and get food also. 474. Similarly, the coming down of a yogi, which means his incarnation, helps people to reach self realization and final liberation. 475. Just as all people become joyful when they see the rains, just as sins are washed away by the glimpse of the river Ganga. 476. Similarly, to have a glimpse of a yogi is also pleasing to the beholder, and he who looks upon the sacred feet of yogi is freed from the sansara itself. 477. If one is not getting a chance to see the yogi or touch his feet, then his name should be remembered and uttered. That also cuts the roots of samsara. 478. A question may be asked as to how, instead of remembering the name of the god, the bondage of the worldly life can be loosened. But do not think like this. 479. Actually, God has no name. It is the devotees who have given him a name and a place and have given him the prestige and the riches. 480. Thus, the devotees have offered him the dignity and created the place of Vaikuntha. When God is thus under the obligations of the devotees, he obeys the orders. 481. For example, for the sake of his devotees, God took the form of a man lion and proved to be true the statement of Prahlad. Prahlad, that God is everywhere. 482. Even at present, it is evident that God is everywhere by the example of image worship. Thus, God is in the stone image also. 483. The God has the burden of the devotion of his servants. He cannot disobey their wishes. Really, God becomes limited and assumes any limited form to please his devotees. 484. There is no wonder, therefore, that God has to run to a place where the name of his devotees is taken by the people just because he is under many obligations. He does not make delay in giving succor. 485. It is therefore true that taking the name of the devotees of God, the troubles of worldly life are obviated. While speaking these words, Avadhuta himself was full of love. 486. Next to this Guru, the fire is my Guru. I will tell you its qualities. Please listen with total attention. तेजस्वी तपसा दीप्तः दुर्धर्षाधर भा दुर्धर्षाधर भाजनः सर्वभक्षोऽपि युक्तात्मा नादत्ते मलमग्निवत्. Meaning of the verse: full of glory and glowing with austerity, formidable and having no pot other than his belly, the yogi, like fire, does not imbibe any impurity, sin. Even though he consumes anything and everything, he never eats any impure substance. Nothing dross remains in the fire without being burnt totally. Similarly, yogi does not take bad food. 487. Fire is naturally brilliant. We cannot hold it in our hand because it is hot. Fire is in everybody's belly and it digests everything by its heat. 488. Similarly, yogi is hot due to his acute sense of power and godliness. Even gods do not dare to disturb him. 489. Just as the ember of the wood of khair cannot be held in our hand, yogi also cannot be taken for granted. Even the Maya, with all the power of her gunas, cannot control him. 490. Fire has its flames as its only mouth and pot. Similarly, the yogi has only one pot, which is his belly. He has no other vessel to keep any article. 491. Fire turns everything into fire by burning. Similarly, yogi eats everything but does not take any dirty food. 492. Fire burns everything, may it be sandalwood with fragrance or any other wood smelling bad. It may be neem wood or the dry sugar cane. Fire burns their shape and qualities, and in that process, everything becomes fire. 493. Similarly, yogi accepts everything, wipes away the defects of that thing, and makes it as pure as himself by the sense of unity of that Atman. 494. Whatever he sets out to enjoy in it, he sees himself, and therefore the enjoyer, the yogi, becomes the thing. This is called the yogi's enjoyment. 495. Whatever dirty thing falls into the fire, it is purified immediately. Similarly, everything which a yogi takes becomes pure. 496. When oblations are offered into the fire, it becomes a sacrifice and the heaven is attained. Whatever is eaten by yogi, by that offering, a man attains the state of Atman. 497. O king, there is one more speciality of fire. Please listen to it because that is the quality of the seeker as well as the siddha. Kwa- Kwachichannah, kwachichan, kwachichannah, kwachistva, क्वचिच्छन्नः क्वचित् उपास्य श्रेय इच्छताम् भुङ्क्ते सर्व भुङ्क्ते सर्वत्र दातॄणाम् दहन् प्रा दहन् प्रागुत्तराशुभम्. Meaning of the verse: the yogi remains hidden from the view at times and becomes visible at other times, just like fire, and earns the respect of those who seek blessings. He burns all the past and future sins of those who make an offering to him, and he is everywhere. 498. In the sacrificial pit, the fire is covered by ashes, and the performers kindle it into activity and accomplish the yajna. 499. Fire renders all the desired results as per the wish of the seeker and receives the oblations, thereby burning the past and the future sins of that person. 500. Sometimes the yogi is visible to one person while he is not visible to somebody. Even after many efforts, it is difficult to meet a yogi. 501. Whatever good things are offered with faith to the yogi, those things lead to men towards liberation. 502. As soon as the food, etc., given by a man is eaten by the yogi, the karma, both past and the present, is burned by the yogi, and he gives that man the status of Atman. 503. O king, there is one more quality of fire which makes it possible to see the qualified and pure non-qualified Brahman as one total unity. स्वमायया सृष् स्वमा स्वमायया सृष्टमिदं सदसल्लक्षणौ विभुः प्रविष्ट ईयते तत् प्रविष्ट ईयते तत् तत् स्वरूपोऽग्निरिवैधसि. Meaning of the verse: fire assumes the shape of the firewood through which it reveals itself. So, having entered a particular body, either of God or animal with noble or ignorable qualities, the all-pervading Brahman appears endowed with that form, though it is evolved by the God's own Maya. 504. Fire is in itself formless, but it takes the related form of the articles which are being burnt. They may be crooked, straight, long or short, big or small. 505. God has similar power. He creates various forms by his Maya and enters into those forms by his own nature, and therefore he appears to be of various forms. 506. Just as the water of the river Ganga is the same, but it appears in various forms like whirlpool, ripples, waves, or flow, so also it is the universal God, the Atman, which appears in the form of any and all the things. 507. The pictures of the paper lamp are cut out, and what appears on the outer screen is made up of light only, but they are called Rama and Ravana, etc., and games are shown to the spectators. 508. Similarly, we see animals of various forms and various individuals in the world, but it is the only one Sri Hari who functions in all. 509. The nature of yogi is similar to that. Though he looks at various forms and individuals, he has no sense of separateness or differences in them, because in every form he sees himself. 510. He is the same things which he looks upon. Thus, Avadhuta told Yadu the good qualities of fire, which qualified the fire to be his guru. 511. He further said, I regarded moon as my guru and strengthened my conviction that birth and death are applicable to the body only, and Atman is eternal and unending, not subject to description. Hari Om. We will stop for today and we'll continue tomorrow. So my thoughts was, initially it was spoken about the space, how the space is not affected by anything that happens around, and still everything is space, and everywhere it is space. The yogi is not affected by any kind of impact on him, and that one, and the purity of water. Uh, the yogi gives everything in purity, and everybody gets purified by offering to yogi. So those two things actually touched me.
Yeah, very nice. I
Anybody
mean,
has
even the
thoughts?
space thing that sloka comes like that. Akledyo yamachadyo yama. That one that. So it's the same property as Atman. They are trying to compare space with Atman,
Correct.
and then
Yeah.
water and
Inside the pot, outside the pot,
yeah,
everywhere it is, space is there. And of course, regarding the fire, it takes the shape of the article it fires, but
correct.
ultimately everything is burnt, whether good or bad, everything is burnt and becomes pure. And that is the quality of fire. So similarly, the yogi will, you know, uh, accept everything, and he will make it pure, even the past and future sins. So that's what. Vinisha ji, any thoughts? Any catchy
Oh,
points?
I was just tickled by the fact that one of the Ovis actually mentioned your name, Sri Hari. So
Ah,
I said, what a coincidence.
it is Lord Sri Hari Paramatma.
Yeah, it's so true of you as well. I mean, so yeah, it was a beautiful reading, and we were, very brave to attend the Sanskrit shlokas.
Yeah, I'm very sorry I couldn't
No,
chant
you tried it. I
right with
realized that each of us should
proper
practice
fathers.
some of these.
Correct.
Some of us.
We should get trained and we should try, and with the guidance of Varshaji, we should take some lead and practice. Even if we make mistakes, she can correct us immediately. So I think we should attempt when Varshaji is around.
We can try to ask her to, we'll read and then ask her to correct.
Correct. Maybe once we read, even if miss, then we can ask her to read it without any. I mean, she can do it after we reading it. Correct. So I was really felt not good today because I made so many mistakes in the shloka.
I think it was fine. It was fine. We are all human.
Perfect. All of us will
Just right. Yeah. So
Hari
we'll
Om.
Maji,
request
you want to say anything?
Varshaji to read the
Padmaji?
shlokas again in the next session. I think that will be good at least one time.
Padmaji wants to say anything?
No, nothing.
Thank you, Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Concluding.
Thanks.
Okay. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Hari Om.